Hey everyone, this is 1B. We were given a function, and then we already found the inverse, and we checked the solution, and all we have to do now is graph it. So the first thing I want to do is fill out some information. The domain of f here is all real numbers except or such that x cannot be -4. Because you can't divide by 0, so you can't have -4 there. And for this one, the inverse, it's all real numbers, however, x cannot be 2. Now, where you get the range from is the domain of the other. So, for the range of f, it's all real numbers, however, y cannot be 2. And then for the inverse, it's the same thing. Y is all real numbers. However, y cannot be -4 because you're just switching the x and the y's when you do your inverses. Okay, so for the vertical asymptote, you look at the domain, and since x cannot be -4, that generates a vertical asymptote at x equals -4. And similarly, for the inverse, x cannot be 2. It's just coming from your domain. For the horizontal asymptote, all you have to do is look at your range if you want, or you can take limits or use your rules. We know that the degrees are the same, so you're just dividing 2 divided by 1. So your horizontal asymptote is y equals 2, which is basically your range. And for here, it's going to be y equals -4. Okay, and for your intercepts, your y-intercept is when x is 0. So if you look at this, when x is 0, you're going to get 2 times 0 minus 3 over 0 plus 4. This knocks out, so it's just going to be -3/4. And then for your x-intercept, that is when y is 0. So if you let this be y, and you cross multiply, the denominator is just going to go away. So when you solve for x, you're going to get, add 3 to both sides, you get 3 equals 2x. So x equals 3/2. And similarly, you can do it for here. My y-intercept, or my x-intercept, sorry, is when x is 0, we get 3/2. And when y is 0, we're going to get -3/4. And if you notice what happened here, all we did was switch the x and the y's. Okay, now all we have to do is graph this. And so basically, it's going to be hard to graph on here, so I suggest you use graph paper. The first thing I want to do is graph f, and I'm going to draw in my vertical and horizontal asymptotes. So x is -4. So this is my first one. X is -4. And my y is 2. So y equals 2. And this is going to be x is -4. Now, I'm going to use my x and y intercepts to help me graph this. My y-intercept was -3/4, which is about here. And my x-intercept is 3/2, which is 1.5. So for this side, it's going to be like this. Now, just knowing what 1 over x is, 1 over x is either going to be the general form is either this way. In our case, ours is negative. So ours is going to look like this. So we know, let me erase that. We know we have a piece, if this is my new kind of center, since I have my first piece in this quadrant here, I'm going to have some piece in this area over here. So what I want to do is do test points over here. And since I'm away from my Y-intercept here, whoops, by -4, I'm just going to go over 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be -8. And I'm going to plug in -8 into my equation. So I'm going to get 2 times -8 minus 3 over -8 plus 4, which gives you about -19 over -4. Now this is very close to 5. So I'm going to go very close to 5. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 would be right here. Very close, but not quite. Now I want to kind of get an area in here, so I'm going to go ahead and try -5. When I plug in -5, I get 2 times -5 minus 3 over -5 plus 4. So this is going to give you 13, -13 over -1, which is 13, which doesn't go that high on here. So I'm just going to draw it way up here. It's a lot higher. So basically you're getting something like this. And this is if you don't use a calculator. Okay, so that's your f function. Now your inverse function, basically all we're going to do is switch our asymptotes. So we're going to have x equals 2. So I'm going to draw that here. And then we're going to have y is -4. Let me erase this. We have y is -4. What color am I using here? Oh, green. So y is -4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's right in there. And I'm going to use my Y-intercept is 3/2, which is about here. Let's see, I'm going to do a different color. Let's use this color. So here's your Y-intercept, and my X-intercept is -3/4, which is about here. Okay, so since I'm in the green area now, this is what's hard. Since I'm in the green area, this is going to go like this. And we know that the other piece is going to be on this side. Right in here is where the other piece is going to be. So I don't even know if I can fit it all on here. But basically, let's try, if I plug in, this is 2, if I plug in 3, I'm going to get -4 times 3 minus 3 over 3 minus 2. So this is going to be, let's see, -12 minus 3 is -15 over 1. So it's going to be -15. So that's way down here, which I don't have. And then let's plug in, how far was I away for this one? I was away for here, like 1, 2, 3. Let's go out to, but maybe let's go out to 5. So basically it's going to be something in this area right in here when you graph it. And you just use some test points in here to graph it, and that gives you an idea. This is not the best of one, but these should all match up to each other. For example, these two should match up. And then these two should kind of match up. Okay? Alright, so you really need good graph paper on this. Okay, thank you, and this is your y equals x. Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.